The Michigan Renaissance Festival is about to begin. Tell us which OC TV show you're watching and we'll send you a limited number of tickets while supplies last. Just send a self-addressed stamped envelope to 1775 North Lapeer Road and we'll get them back to you. See you there. Huzzah!
Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's 7 o'clock. I want to welcome everybody. Today is the 13th of August, and we've had an eventful last couple of months actually with the Strawberry Festival and elections. But now we're back here to do business for the village. So with that, I'd like to ask you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a brief invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you guide and direct the decisions of this council. May they be in the best interest of this village. In your name we pray. Thank you.
Okay, we have a roll call for attendance of the village council.
President McDonald.
Here.
Mrs. Sotheby.
Here.
Mr. Moranti. Mr. Hoffman.
Here.
Mr. Kennedy.
Here.
And note for the record that both Clerk Cindy Groskoff and Treasurer Judy Burse are present. Council has received the minutes of our regular meeting on July 9th. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? If none, a motion to approve the minutes would be in order.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of July 9th's meeting.
Go ahead.
I'll second it.
Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to approve the minutes of July 9th, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay. Council has before it an agenda for this evening's business. Are there any questions, changes, corrections? If not, a motion to approve the agenda will be in order.
I move to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the agenda for this evening, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Council has before it Treasurer's Report for the month of July. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? If none, a motion to receive and file it would be in order.
I make a motion we receive and file.
I'll second it.
Are there any questions on the motion? I'd like a roll call vote, please.
President McDonald.
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby.
Yes.
Okay. Council has before it the accounts payable for the month of July. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? If none, a motion to approve payment of the bills in the amount stipulated would be in order.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills for general of $22,480.31. In the major, $35.30. $0 for local and $0 for Mill Park and Recreation.
I'll second that.
Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, we have a roll call and pay the bills, please.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
President McDonald.
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy.
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, at this time, it would be an opportunity for the public to address the village council on matters that are not on the regular agenda on their business. We ask that you be brief and to the point and understand that the village council is not here to respond. We're here to listen to what you have to say. So you can expect an opportunity to talk to us. So, is there anyone who care to address the village?
I'm not prepared though, but there is a house 2 doors south of me, Maggie Thomas. She passed away in August. And I know that the house went to probate in February, but nobody's taking care of the lawn. And I know between Steve and then the one neighbor south of us, they've been taking care of the front yard, but he tried to get, the backyard is like over 3 feet tall in the back. And he did try to kind of pull the lawnmower through, and the bugs were so bad. So I don't know.
I wasn't aware of that, but.
Yeah.
We'll take
Yeah, I cut it, it was about a foot and a half, I cut it last week or something, real quick, just
The
to
front,
make
just the front. Yeah, you can't tell when you drive by, 'cause like you said, there's, the people next to us who have been with Pushmore keeping up with the front. That back though, like I said, it's extremely long, so I just want to bring that to you guys' attention, because I don't know, maybe you can go about who's in charge.
Anytime you have something like that, you can always call the village and get a message.
It's not a big deal to cut it, it's just, it got out of hand, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got one question. I've heard, from what people told me, that 4285, that guy with those green trucks, it looks like a friggin' junkyard, obviously. And I know he's been doing this stuff. I yelled at him a couple doors down, but he's lighting the trucks up at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night on a weeknight when I gotta get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I think something really needs to be done with it. I know I've heard you had a talk with him. You guys kind of had a powwow or something a couple times.
Yeah,
but I'm about to go down there and have a powwow myself with him here pretty shortly.
Well, I strongly suggest, and this is pretty standard advice in any community, contact the police first.
And thank God for her, I ain't in jail.
Okay.
Yes.
To no good effect?
They had their contacts and
It was
stuff.
quiet for a little while.
They had to do it,
Yeah.
and it's just, it's getting out of hand, because, I don't know how he can blow 3 motors in his truck right now, because he's doing it, and in the middle of the day, it is what it is, but he's doing it at 10 o'clock at night, and I've been told a couple times, he's been doing it at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And I know the ordinance or whatever, and I'm not one on the noise ordinance too much, but the stuff he's doing right now is just getting out of hand, and
I know he's not in love with the village either, but.
Does he even own that house?
We've had very conflicting information between the county treasurer and previous owners. It's been a tough communication. The last we heard, we thought not. It sounded like it might have gone back to the bank, but the last conversation we had with the resident claimed that it was absolutely in his name and his property. We were sending them, notifications that didn't have the right name on them and stuff, so we'll
I just wondered if that place in South Carolina, if he bought it on a land contract or something, but, that place looks like a shithole. It looks. I'm stating a fact.
This is contract.
Okay. Yes, sir.
First of all, I'd like to submit the first 94 names for a petition for the sale of alcohol by glass to the board here.
I'll take it. I'm the
Okay, so they were trying to get it done. There's been a lot of conversation with although we have able to sell it for all 7 hours, but it seems like the big consensus is that there was a problem with being a septic is why the village won't allow a bar, but I think contact EPA, there is like several $100 million worth of grants that are available for you guys, you just got to apply for them. But there has to be a business here that needs it. So, we're just trying to do business here, and we'd like to see you guys, put it under consideration. I'll be back in next month with the rest of the 50%.
Thank you for the information. Council, I'll have the petition available up in the village offices if you care to review it. Is there anybody else? Mr. Hart?
Thank you for your time. My name is John Hart. I live a mile up the road. And John and Ellen Taylor, my mother and father-in-law, known Char since way back then. And I'm here because of NODA. I voted for NODA just recently. And did it pass?
Sure did.
Okay. I think it's a good program, but there's a problem. That problem involves me that I know of and perhaps others. And the problem is anyone who can look at me and can't tell that I need some way of getting exercise cardiovascular, it must be somewhat blind because I go to VA lots
to my doctor and stuff. So my health was, as I'm 69, hasn't gotten better, it's worse. So I have them take me to YMCA, and it's not out of their area. They go to OPC. I go to OPC, but they don't have a handicap lift there, and the people help me out. I go to YMCA. I haven't gone there in a long time, pretty much given up on it. Because people in this town and the townships have given up on looking at me and saying, yeah, this guy does qualify for transportation because he does need exercise. I don't walk, I can't do jumping jacks. I just swim for my cardiovascular, my exercise. I've been in this chair for 19 years. And when I did go from there, I began to connect the brain and the legs, and not just kicking my legs back, actually stepping, see, so I can move my legs. But for them to just take me once in a while or once a week to the YMCA, I want to go twice a week to get regular over there, keep my strength up somewhat so I can be more independent. And so my wife isn't taking care of me, and I have to depend on her. But for them to take me one day a week and not take me next week, and not look at me as though I have a medical need, it just isn't right. And for them to tell me several occasions that they don't come and get me again because of where I live at. I live within Addison Township where they collect money for that, plus they pay the fees to go in and out. And so I say to everybody here, like last week when you said to me, get it right, and the guy down here, you just jumped over the issue. There's a problem with NODA, and they admit it, but they won't fix it.
But you know, Mr. Hart, though, you're coming before the board of the Village of Leonard, and as a board for the Village of Leonard, we don't have control over NODA. So your issue should be with NODA.
My issue is with NODA, also with people. People need to listen and hear these things, my plea, and perhaps there's others out there. But your response was that perhaps I should ride with that guy that they come and do get it and go to OCC, right there. I should ride with him. No, I don't do this hours. When I go down, I need about 5 hours. Go from my place down there.
Well, I was just trying to come up with a solution for you because you were complaining that you couldn't get a ride, and I thought if they were taking him going that time, you're retired, why couldn't you make time to go with when he's going?
Because I don't know when he goes. If you go to school over there, he might go to school on Tuesday, he might do class, he might go on Monday in the morning, he might go on, okay? And he might just go there for 2 hours and then come back. I require about 5 hours each trip over there. And my big one was, you skipped over the issue that they're not coming to get me on a regular basis, even though I live within the township.
No, but you're missing the issue that there's nothing we can do for it.
So we've got 5 minutes.
I'm just pleading with the people so they finally hear my issue instead of to say, yeah, I do see this guy does need, and we need to fix an issue, a problem. Instead of people looking like I'm nothing. Mike, we spoke last year or so, and you said that you would work on that, and I spoke to Lynn Justice a year or so ago when they asked for more money. She said it would get better. It hasn't gotten any better. And so I'm just one person here. If they treat me like this, don't look at me like I have a need, just as equal as somebody who was born with a disability and goes to Dutton Farm and feeds the cows for 8 hours a day, makes $8, or somebody who goes to a doctor, once a month or so. I go to the doctor on a regular basis, VA takes me. But to go swimming, I have an obligation to take care of my health. I can't walk like the rest of you. And we're all going to get old, hopefully, and have disabilities. So we all need to know that, look at each other and say, yeah, we have these things. I have a need to have physical therapy. It's not a gym. It's a place where I go to get my cardiovascular, exercise all of myself. I just can't get out to stretch. And so for people to see that there is an issue, and it's within NODA. It's also within the board, when I've pleaded with this several times, it's also within the board to see and hear this problem and really give it strong consideration and work on fixing, like why is it happening to John Hart could be happening to other people. Like I say,
I think Mr. Hart, if I may interrupt, it's
Yeah.
been 5 minutes, and I think the council has taken your point and understand it very well, because this is not your first time stating it. I have taken it back to NODA as the board representative to NODA, but as Mrs. Verse indicated, this is a NODA issue, and if you're not telling everybody here is informational for them, but it's not going to make progress for us. You have to deal with NODA itself, the organization.
Well, I have, but the people that are on the board also help dish out the money that has to be in control of it. And so I say, I have to plead everybody to finally say, yeah, I finally get what this guy's saying.
Actually, the village of Leonard votes for the same millage as the township residents do. So it's a township-wide millage. The village council actually doesn't pay or contract any more than any other village we pay as township residents.
Yeah.
So the township board is the one that handles the village and the money, not the village individual.
Right.
But given that it's been over 5 minutes and that we've taken your point, if you have a single point that you want to make right now, please make it and then we can move on with our meeting.
Okay, since I live within the township of Ashland Township, would anybody, and I address you because you're on the board also, but to hear people that say these and see that, yeah, sometimes you can whisper somewhere out there. But since I live in the township and the millage is collected on all taxable parcels of land throughout Ashland Township would pay it. And so I would be included like the rest of them. I'm entitled like the rest of people. Who would know that I might be, there might be more people out because they told me I live too far. I told them several times I live too far. Well, they didn't say that when they were going for the millage, passed. So this answer of I live too far is not qualified.
Okay, I will verify whether that has been the single reason why you have not been able to get your transportation the way you want it. But I will not bring it back to the council. I will notify you directly. And I suggest that you need to take this up at a different venue. I mean, it's still public comment.
I can't get there, Mike.
You can still come here if you like.
Yeah.
But as I said, I can only do so much as one board member. And believe me, I have taken this back several times, starting over a year ago when you first brought it forward. And then we just went through it again 4 or 5 months ago. So, that's all we can do at this time.
I can appreciate it. Sometimes you need a few more people, but and so I, like I have that right there. Okay. So, and how many other people, maybe in downtown Leonard here, don't get taken over as much.
Okay.
But for me,
Well, we would be able to, all the calls are logged, Mr. Hart, so that would be part of my investigation to see if anybody else is being refused service. Well, thank you very much for coming.
they're not refusing me altogether. They're not taking me every week because I need to go.
Okay.
When they call me on June, and I call on June 5th, and I call me June 14th.
Well, we know that they have fixed assets and fixed schedules, so I'll make them aware of your concerns again.
I have to say, if I want to go to Lake Oxford, it wouldn't be so bad. It's easier that way right there. Just going down to my YMCA.
Okay, is there anybody else that wants to address? Yes, sir.
Do you know how many residents are in the village right now?
2010 census was 403, and I think the number's higher than that now. We won't know and have an official number until 2020. Okay. Moving on to new business, if there's nobody else. The council was advised and received the master plan from the Planning Commission last month. We've had an opportunity to review it. This evening, we have several choices to either approve the distribution, which would then allow the Planning Commission to move forward with the public hearing and adoption of the master plan. So with that, I will open it up to the village council. Are there any comments or questions regarding the master plan? The Planning Commission chairperson is here, Leslie McKenna, and I'm sure we can, in Paul's absence as liaison, I'm sure that's a great thing because you'll hear it from us directly, Leslie. Any comments?
I'd just like to say, once I read it, very impressed. You've done a really nice job of putting it together, and the pictures, the wording, very, very professional. Much better than I could have done, trust me.
Thank you.
Good job.
Anybody else? I also appreciate all the effort that went into that project. And as we all know, Leslie became chairperson and ended up being the person to put it all together. But this has been an ongoing process, and we want to make sure we recognize all the current and past commissioners, et cetera, for the work that they did.
But I know she went out with her camera, took pictures on her own that some hadn't done.
Right.
She tried to address many, many issues, and I think she did a very good job.
I agree. So, if we approve the distribution tonight, we'll notify the planning commission. So I am looking for a resolution from the village council authorizing the planning commission to proceed with the distribution of the master plan with the intent of having a public hearing.
I'd like to make a motion to distribute the master plan as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Very good. Are there any questions by the council? Anybody else? If not, we'll have a roll call vote then for the distribution and approval of the master plan from the village council.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, Leslie, next up.
The next step, I think, is, don't you have the public hearing? The village council that has the public hearing? That was the last thing we got from Phil, the attorney.
63 days to comment. The village planning commission must hold a public hearing. Following public hearing, the planning commission may adopt the master plan, 2/3 vote in favor of.
But that was the old letter, the Phil sent something new, remember?
Yeah, that's kind of what we're reading right here, it's dated July 2nd. We can work it out.
Yeah,
Either
the
way.
village council had, it says the village planning commission or the village council?
It says village planning commission.
Oh.
After we have now had an opportunity to review it, if we would have had any changes or corrections, we would send it back to the planning commission before approving it.
Okay.
As it is, it's been approved, so now it goes back.
Okay.
The clerk will have to distribute it to the agencies that have to get it, township, maybe I'm not sure if the road commission will. And then,
So
and then
we
planning-
sent it to Oakland County already, we sent it to, we have to do it again.
this is the final. This is the adopted version.
Got it.
Okay? All right. Moving on then. Council has before it a communication from FEMA dated April 2nd, wherein the Oakland County Hazard Mitigation Plan has been reviewed and formal approval of the plan is contingent upon adoption of the plan by the jurisdictions of which the village of Leonard is one. So they're asking for a resolution approving the hazard mitigation plan. Council, you received the pertinent areas of the document in regards to the village of Leonard. So they provided a resolution which has been tailored to the village of Leonard, and we would be voting on that resolution. Does the council want it read, or do you want to waive reading and proceed with the vote?
I don't have a problem either way, but maybe the audience would like to hear it.
Yeah.
All right. Adoption of the Oakland County Hazard Mitigation Plan. Whereas the mission of the village of Leonard includes the charge to protect the health, safety, and general welfare of the people of the village of Leonard, and whereas the village of Leonard, Michigan is subject to flooding, tornadoes, winter storms, and other natural, technological, and human hazards, and whereas the Oakland County Homeland Security Division and the Oakland County Local Emergency Planning Committee comprised of representatives from the county, municipalities, and stakeholder organizations, have prepared a recommended hazard mitigation plan that reviews the options to protect people and reduce damage from these hazards. Whereas the Village of Leonard has participated in the planning process for development of this plan, providing information specific to local hazard priorities, encouraging public participation, identifying desired hazard mitigation strategies, and reviewing the draft plan. Whereas the Oakland County Homeland Security Division and the Oakland County Local Emergency Planning Committee has developed the Oakland County Hazard Mitigation Plan, referred to as the plan, as an official document of the county and establishing a county hazard mitigation coordinating committee pursuant to the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000 and associated regulations. Whereas the plan has been widely circulated for review by the county's residents, municipal officials, and state, federal, and local review agencies, and has been revised to reflect their concerns. And now therefore be it resolved by the Village Council for the Village of Leonard that the Oakland County Hazard Mitigation Plan is hereby adopted as an official plan of the Village of Leonard. The Village President is charged with supervising the implementation of the plan's recommendations as they pertain to the Village of Leonard and within the funding limitations as provided by the Village Council of the Village of Leonard or other sources. So at this time, we would ask for a motion of adoption and have a roll call vote.
I make a motion that we adopt the Oakland County Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Second it.
Thank you, Larry.
Yeah.
Mr. Hoffman. Is there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, do we have a roll call vote, please, for adoption?
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
So we'll note that Paul Allen-Ranty was absent from that. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Informational item is essentially the village has submitted a grant application to the DTE Foundation for a grant to assist with the Leonard Mill restoration of the foundation. So there's no matching funds or anything like that with it. It's simply an outright grant. Not saying we'll get it, but we should know, I think, by October. Okay. This is a good item. You may recall that we had some inclement weather on Strawberry Festival Day. I mean, as such,
Just a little.
we weren't able to run the Soapbox Derby or the Festival Derby. I'm not sure how we're officially calling it. Sure. I think this is a great activity, and they've asked if the village would allow West Elmwood to be closed again for a brief interval on September 1st, which is a Saturday, to allow them to attempt another derby race so that the efforts of all the families that went into getting ready for the Strawberry Festival race would at least get a chance to run the race. So I'm asking for authorization from the council to authorize the road closure on September 1st for a period of 4 hours.
Yeah, we were thinking like 10 to 2.
Okay. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Did anybody go and talk to the people that live down that way about rescheduling?
About detouring, you mean?
Yeah.
No, it's village road.
I've had a couple complaints.
Well, it is inconvenient,
Yeah.
no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I just think that, and I have been approached by a lady who was very, very angry. I think that maybe it could be put in the paper, an alternate route. You know, just saying when you're going to have it closed, and that you could turn on Curtis, Hosner, whatever, and you can find your, because she lives obviously west of there and was very irate, and, you know, sorry, nothing I can...
Person's gonna make an issue for everybody else?
No, I don't think so, but that was her opinion, just like yours is to have it closed.
Right.
She has a right to her opinion, and she's a resident as well. And I think a simple thing like putting it in the paper at least says you've tried to do the right thing, whatever, and if she doesn't read the paper, that's not your fault, right?
Yeah, or some kind of spray paint, like garage sale signs with arrows for the alternate route to get around or something.
Well, Mike said that was an issue because that would involve county roads,
Road commission makes us pull a permit in order to put signs up.
and it gets expensive. So I did ask the same
Yeah, we
thing.
talked about doing that, we would like to have done that.
Yeah, because I mean, really, you can't even really detour through the, the community over here.
No.
Because all the side streets are gonna be closed also.
Right.
To go that.
But I do get, again, it was a bummer weather, so I could see, if you've got families that worked really hard, that's a bummer if you can't use it.
Yeah, I think we can pull this off and if we need to work, we can work on getting the word out on it.
Yeah. We just need to get a date so we can do that. Give us some time to get.
So we're looking at September 1st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Kyle, maybe the store, the barber shop sign, that would be a great, if you could get with that guy.
That and just make some flyers and put them at Leonard's Market.
Yeah.
Just kind of around town, you can put them down at the township. But
You could even put one down at the,
Just give her a flyer.
I was going to say, put one at the beginning of that subdivision, because that was where the issue was. She had elderly family who got lost, and you can understand her anger and her frustration because Mama's lost and she can't get to Mama. So, something that none of us would have anticipated.
Okay, what is the pleasure of the council?
I'd like to make a motion to close the road on September 1st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
I'll second that.
Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to close West Elmwood, a section of West Elmwood briefly on September 1st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay, all set. Right, Leonard Sewer meeting. As council knows, I've been meeting semi-regularly with the village engineers and the Department of Agriculture, Senator Marlowe, and Oakland County Drain Commission or Water Resources Commission. And it has come down to the fact that there are no grants where anybody is going to pay for a sewer system for life. The Department of Agriculture has low-interest loan programs, and the village could qualify for a relief of up to 45% of a loan if we meet certain criteria, and that hinges on the actual cost of the project. So, which would in turn rest on what design standards, the type of system, etc., that the village could build. So with that said, I've asked the village engineers for a quote for the performance of such a study. They have not yet returned a quote to us. I hope to have some idea, at least at this meeting, but I do not. So as soon as I do get it, I will make sure I distribute it. And then once we know how much, I will try to find out what funding is available, either internally and externally, that we can move forward on that. The only way that we're going to get anything is if a sewer study is performed. That's really the bottom line. We can't get a loan without one. We can't get a grant without one, or a partial grant without one. So that's the situation that we face.
Would we vote on that?
Well, we could ask, you may have heard about Ortonville. They've been trying to get sewers in Ortonville for about 25 years. And it hasn't passed yet. So it's not a requirement to have a vote, but I think we would be well put before we could spend the money on a system, on a study. And then depending on what the study was, then the people would have an idea of what it costs and what's being proposed. So it won't affect your, the study would be probably paid out partially from taxes. But but generally, sewer systems and water systems are paid for by the users, of which
Yeah.
we're all users.
But that's the biggest problem with town. There's nothing perks. If your septic fails, you're going like $45,000 every time. That's the biggest problem with this town. That's the reason why we can't. I mean, that would be great to go downtown and have a beer, you know, and I know it sucks for you because you live right next door and you don't want it, but like, what's he have to do?
I've never said I don't want it.
But it's like, that's what people say.
Well,
And that's what the town thinks.
Yeah.
So,
Then it's me?
yeah, that you don't want it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, that's what we think.
Well, it's
It
not.
might not be the truth, but that's the rumor.
Under the current circumstances, it's not a good idea because there is no perk. There can be.
But if we got sewers, that's the biggest problem is town needs sewers.
Is it a problem if I have the EPA grant funding call you or make some contact?
I've already talked to the EPA, so thank you for offering. If you want to send a letter to the village, feel free.
No, I can get them to
That'd be fine.
contact. I mean,
Okay,
So,
go ahead and finish.
don't you agree that's the biggest problem is town?
Well, I think most everybody here has heard it more than once.
What, we gonna do anything about it? Like,
Well, that's what we were just talking about, Chris.
yeah.
I mean, we have to do a study. If you want to vote on having a study, that,
They gotta do something.
we're talking, it could be $30,000, $40,000. 10 years ago, it was estimated between 20 and 25 and 30,000. 10 years has gone by, it'll probably be more expensive. And that's just a study. That's not going to physically fix anything.
Well, can we start taking our gear off the mill and Hollywood Trail and start focusing on sewers? Maybe look, taking all our focus on these every month.
They're totally unrelated. There are no grants that could go to the mill that would fix sewers. They're
Right, but I
two
mean,
totally different
but as a
animals.
council, but as
If
a
you're not
council.
happy with what's going on,
No, what I'm getting at, as a council, can we start putting more of a focus on doing this than worrying about the mill and the Pollyant Trail? Because that's all we're talking about, 90% of the time.
every meeting you bring that up.
And every meeting, shut it down, Mike.
No,
That's the fucking problem, you shut it down.
That's enough.
Well, it is,
I'm
I'm
not
not shutting it down,
I'm
listen to us.
not the only person up here for one thing.
Yeah, I understand
This is
that.
the village council.
Right.
And you're not selling what you're selling.
Focus on
By
stuff that needs to be
talking
done,
like-
instead of
by
mill,
talking
instead of all that stuff.
Steve, the village has been looking into grants.
They ain't been looking at nothing except for building Pollyant Trail for the whole 8 years since I've been here.
Is there any other comments besides
Time, this is like doing this, at a meeting like this.
It's just,
You know, we're talking about several $1 million to do
Yeah,
a
sure.
sewer system. And there's probably about, right now, we have 150 homes, plus or minus, plus a couple businesses in the village. So the average payback, the average amount over 4 years is over $50 a month, just to repay.
yeah, but that's a lot easier than pay your septic bill. You need $40,000
Yeah,
right now.
no, you're absolutely right. But honestly, which septics have you seen fail besides the ones that?
They're good, I mean, they don't last forever.
No.
But then you gotta build another one, and nothing perks around here. So you have to, do an engineer field then. That's what costs all that,
Or the package treatment system.
and it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, it does.
It does. And I don't know.
Well, I
That's
agree.
why
I
this
think-
town
I
would
think-
be
I think it should be,
interesting.
I think it should be put to a vote, Chris.
Yeah.
Once we have the facts and figures, I
Yeah.
think people would
That's a good
want to
point.
vote on it.
I mean,
That's what we're working towards.
sorry to bring it up that it's just a rumor going around that you don't want nothing
No,
next to you.
people-
But I mean,
no,
that's the
people
rumor.
say that all the time, and all of us here at these tables have to get that, because that's our job. People have to look at what we're doing, and these are the things we do. There's zoning, there's a lot more things going on.
I'm sure there is. And that's-
Than just trying to get money, and money ain't free. You know, we've financed 2 road projects in the last 11 years, 10 years. We've got some debt, so we have to do what we can do when we can do
We
it.
just gotta work on the grants.
That's what we've been doing.
Anybody
There
want to
are no real
volunteer?
grants.
Anybody want to volunteer?
Well, that's what you guys are doing, right?
No,
No,
not
you guys
entirely.
aren't working on the grants?
Well, there are no grants. The only place that we can borrow money is from the Department of Agriculture, the federal government. That money, depending on your income level, and the village of Leonard right now is, per
52,000.
capita is 52,000, so we qualify for some forgiveness. So that means that, let's just for the sake of discussion, anything over $55 a month, they would forgive that amount of the monthly cost, which would be great. I mean, that'd be a wonderful thing. Well, you gotta remember that base figure. There are some people in town that can't afford an extra 50, and that 50 is not their sewer fee. That's just to repay the loan. You're still talking about having to pay tie-in fees and distribution fees.
I think one thing before,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think one thing before we really talk too many numbers, we really need to come back and look at what the engineering study says if we vote to move forward with an engineering study. Because there's typically going to be hidden fees that you won't see. So while we're talking $55 a month right now, there could be upwards of higher connection fees. That could be equivalent to putting in a septic field. So I think it needs to be considered because you need to have everybody on board with that. So I think we really need to look at what the study is.
Everybody's gonna want to tie in if their septic is still if their septic is working properly, which I understand there's a lot in town that don't work.
And that is another issue, because when I talk with the Department of Agriculture, they don't require us as a community to force everyone to hook up. We can pick areas of service.
But you can also put it under a thing too, that once that person's septic fails, then they can't put in another septic, they have to tie in.
That's up to the health department.
Right, but that's what they've done in many communities throughout, for years. I believe that's how it
Would
works.
the village be opposed to a co-signing from a 501c3 as a federally recognized Indian tribe, like co-signing along your money? I mean, because I'm an officer of
As a village, we don't know that as an option. Again, if you have information you think is relevant, you may send it to the village. Okay. All right, so I guess that really closes out the information on the sewer meeting, unless somebody has something else. Because we don't have any facts or figures to look at as far as cost right now. But I did want to put it on the agenda so that you can be updated that it's being worked on. Apparently not everybody sees it that way. Okay, unfinished business, Elmwood Street project. They did come back and perform some more repairs from the engineers in the Department of MDOT's point of view. They're done in the village. I'm not happy with a lot of the work that's been done, but MDOT accepts it, it satisfies their standards, and so they pay the bills, so they're paying it. So.
Now, asking again in front of Sam's, where they had to put so much handicap, now that MDOT is satisfied, can some of that be changed?
It can be changed, but they haven't done the final inspection yet.
Okay, wait till they do the final inspection and get out there with a can of paint and take care of it.
Whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just what I was going to ask.
Council, you remember Larry, because he wasn't here last month, but we had some trees on village right-of-ways that need to be, a couple stumps, and the trees are taken down. We got bids back, 3 bids, one from Owen Tree Service, one from Budget, and one from L&L. The Owen bid was $695. The budget bid was $600, and the L&L bid was $750. These were all for the same work.
It's for 23 East Elmwood?
No.
That's our address.
That's our address.
Oh.
It's for the Division Street,
By me?
By me.
By the,
Corner there. Well, it's up by our driveway
there's
almost.
a dead,
Well, there's a tree right up there by my new neighbor too, and that tree is dead.
we looked at it, it's on private property, Larry. It's not on the right of way.
How can that be on private property? I don't think so.
The sidewalk
The
is,
sidewalk's on that side of the tree.
well, I have to go back and look at the,
Sidewalk's on that side of the tree.
okay. I'm not sure where, maybe, is there another tree in the front yard then, on the other side?
Across the street, yeah, that one's in Slusher's. But that's right out there too. Oh, I know which one you're talking about, the great big one, in the school. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's on private, that's on the school property. This one here is on the,
Yeah, it's between the road and the sidewalk.
yeah, and it's dead. It's very, well, there's a couple little leaves at the top, the rest of it's dead. And it's
But it's on this side. of the
this side of the sidewalk,
Yeah, the sidewalk is the,
yeah, you're right away,
right away.
yeah. It's on the village side.
Okay. I'll have Don take a look at it. I'm not sure that might, have we bump these up again. Does council want to wait another month or
I would say, why don't we get the other tree quoted or take a look at the other tree and we can table this till next time. And then we can make it a package deal on the work rather than paying for travel twice.
So you're gonna have one contractor do
well, we have to rebid.
one or two of them?
We'll have to rebid it.
Okay.
Because there's no sense,
No.
for them to mobilize.
You're paying for 2 hours.
Yeah, so whatever, we've got, we better get it right.
Yeah, there's no sense in doing that, so, you're right.
All right, this final item, ordinance review. This is just, I want to give the council, public, an opportunity to tell the council, is there anything in our ordinances that we need, that you think we should look at, that needs tuning up? I mean, we just adopted the new code of ordinances. The zoning ordinance is, pardon?
Everybody watch.
Everybody look.
Well, I think we all know kind of what they'd like to see. So,
The one ordinance that's been brought to my attention is the specific breeds of dogs, disallowing that. I know that there is concern raised against that.
And other communities are doing away with that ordinance.
Yep.
yeah, I think the law changed.
Yes, it did.
So I can bring that to,
That's been the one that's been brought to my attention.
anything else?
Is this open for public too?
Sure.
I don't know what the signage, if there's a signage ordinance, but if you consider a smiley face on the back of a toilet seat, a sign. I just thought, maybe one toilet is cute, but 2 toilets is starting to get like kind of offensive.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You don't care for potty humor?
What's that?
I was joking, I said you don't care for potty humor?
Well, if you're trying to uplift the village in any way you can, flower pots, lighting, site, whatever, make the village better. I understand humor, but is there any ordinance that's being violated there?
I don't know if there's any.
I wouldn't think so.
Anything about a building ordinance.
And
plumbing.
a vacant toilet could be considered trash. And you can't just sit trash on the side of the road. Would you be within your right to just say, look, some trash, let's
I would have
just
to
throw
run
that
it
in
by
the
the village attorney.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if that's a freedom of speech thing or not, but.
Yeah, because some people's decorations I don't think are too attractive, but maybe they don't like mine either. So.
Well, decorations are one thing.
Oh, I know, but today decorations is a big area.
I don't know, it wouldn't be considered art. There's not like a social statement being made.
I hear you.
Okay.
Just like the Valentine one.
Anything else?
Valentine's are nice though. You think that falls in the same category?
No, I'm just It's the same person, same humor.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't think a smiley face would hurt anybody.
No, it's the two toilets, though.
Yeah, well, so, you know, if it gets done, we don't know about it, fine.
We'll have conversations.
Yeah.
Get something going. Anything else?
I hate to bring it up, but what about the chicken ordinance?
About what?
Okay,
The chickens.
regarding chickens.
Yep.
Chickens.
The Right to Farm Act, pretty much
Chickens.
disallows local regulation of commercial farming activity. That said, our ordinance still applies to individuals having chickens that aren't being sold or used for commercial purposes. So there has been some talk, and a lot of communities have, not just other communities, very well-heeled communities can afford to enforce an ordinance that's going to likely be challenged and go to court if they claim the right to farm and the community says you're not really doing it, you're just using that as a shelter. So I'm very leery of doing anything for fear of becoming a test case, and which would be a very expensive process. Now, if the village council and the planning commission want to consider changing the zoning ordinance to allow poultry on smaller parcels, you absolutely would have to address roosters. Roosters are the biggest problem I find with chickens. The noise, and basically the noise. It's not just the crowing, it's just that they agitate the hens a lot too. So I'm going to tell you, it's a big job. We're kind of in a transition phase with the planning commission because we're not going to have Leslie forever. She's smiling. But, it's a big task to undertake.
It's just that you're seeing more and more of them in the village.
Yeah.
And frankly, the only ones we have problems with or any discussion are the ones that have roosters. Unless you're telling me otherwise.
But there again, it depends what people view as noise, or I don't find them offensive. They don't bother me.
If you're on an acreage
Just
parcel.
bother you?
Well, and if they're on an acreage parcel, there's some
Well,
distances.
see, George has them, Chris has them.
If you're
There's a lot of people
living
have chickens in town now.
Chris who?
Your neighbor,
where it's
next to the
side
school.
by side houses,
Really?
Yeah.
it can
When did
be
he get 'em?
a different
She,
situation.
you look at her backyard, she's
Oh,
got
the lady.
I think
Yeah.
we have sympathy for both sides.
Yeah, I know.
It's really.
But she's
You
got
go
it back
north,
there.
Neighbors
those people
trying
have all
to get
got
along with
chickens.
neighbors.
I know. It doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me either.
I used to like it when them ones started coming up to the
You ever had any
school.
problems with your chickens?
I got a kick out of it.
And we've got like 6 roosters.
And there's people by us that have roosters, and like I said, they're not noise to me, but that's my opinion.
Well, noise is noise for different ones. I'm across from the factory, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, when the guy with the big truck revs that sucker up, it is annoying. But the factory is there. He has the right to start his truck.
Well, I'm willing to take whatever direction the council wants.
I just think you're going to see more and more. And what I'm seeing is people are not asking permission. They're just getting the chickens. So that makes it bad for the guy who tried to be a good guy and got a permit.
Who's that?
Well, Bivens ultimately had to get a permit, and he's having a problem. And that's who I'm referring to. But there's a lot of others that are just getting chickens, and they're not asking anybody's permission.
Well, the Bivens are out of that arena now. Their claim is that they have a commercial operation and under the right to farm that they can do whatever they want on their property.
Okay.
Now, the Right to Farm Act does have rules and regulations which the village has inquired about, and we have not gotten the final report from the Department of Agriculture on it, but that will come back to you as well once we get that information.
Okay.
But frankly, I I've got chickens next door to me, they don't bother me, but there's no rooster. If there was a rooster, I would not be happy. That's just me.
Right, that's what I said, you know. It's an opinion.
Okay, are we moving on?
Well, what are you gonna do about it? Nothing?
What do you want me to do, Larry?
I don't know.
Well, then why are you asking?
That's why I'm asking. I don't know what I want you to do.
Okay.
I'm thinking let them go.
I'm not, well, at this point,
I mean, we're not gonna,
I don't think we want to do anything until we had the village attorney put all the pieces together, and then we can look at it.
well, it used to be, you know, you could have so many fowl in your yard if you had an acre. Then all of a sudden, if you had a half an acre, you couldn't have any, but a lot of people did. And you just didn't, you know, you just went by it. But I mean, they don't bother me at all. I like seeing them running around. I remember my dad used to cut the head off and I had to go in the wood pile and get the chicken because it was running under there.
That's a little more information.
Well,
Okay.
Bob oiled it and pulled feathers.
And with that, I will give feedback to the council by way of memo once I followed up on some of these items.
Mike, can I say something on that? I was down there a bunch of eggs, and I have to say this. The chicken and the ducks are way in the back. It's a nice piece of property, that corner from back up there. I would think the guy, the neighbor, would be more concerned about their garage, that area right there. But the property, we're talking about the same ones over here on the trail, near that road, you know, what's it called? Basin Street?
Basin.
Well, yeah, just...
I didn't hear the roofs over there, but...
Yeah, for your information, those structures aren't even on their property, they're partially on their property. They're actually back on the farm, where that field back there.
Yeah, I didn't know it all, but it looks nice to me, and like they're way back there. I live on Rochester Road, of course I moved there, moved to Rochester Road there, and got all annoyed.
Farm field?
So I get used to that, and there I might sleep, but...
Jenny don't know that. Jenny just read it. That's Serge Dice.
Like I said to me...
But I mean, that's always been the lot lines back there. How the hell did that change?
Okay, thank you for that. Moving on then to the DPW. I'm not sure, but Kurt and Don were going to work on the oil cooler on the truck and line and broken. And that's, hoping that's repaired now, but that was the only thing we got going on there.
Do we have a new DPW worker?
A new what?
DPW worker?
No, Kurt Strobel.
No, Kathy, I'm talking.
Oh, well, Kathy's always been kind of...
The fill-in, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, President's report. We had no Freedom of Information Act requests. Had no applications for block grant. Ordinance enforcement is pretty much what you heard tonight. We did get one candidate registered as a write-in candidate for the village council. And we're still waiting for surveys to come back for Main Street. They're due August 24th for anyone that hasn't had a chance to fill one out or send one in. Okay, moving on to the committee and trustee reports. Summer Festival Committee. I'm not sure. We know there's going to be a derby race in September, hopefully. Moving on to Cable Commission, anything there, Trevor?
We haven't met since the last.
Decorating Committee?
We are meeting tomorrow night.
All right.
You're gonna have it now? Okay.
So that's August 14th. Here, 7 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay. Planning Commission.
We have a meeting Thursday.
Leslie, if you want to give me a call, if you take a look at that paperwork from Phil, from the attorney.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, and we'll work it out.
Yeah, just so we know the procedure to go, like, do I need to do anything at this meeting Thursday?
Right, he'll provide us whatever notices or anything we need, you know, as we go along.
Right. I think you could go forward and go ahead and schedule the public hearing, or do we have to wait another 63 days?
Yeah, we've got 63 days to wait. It looks like. And,
No, from when we send it again to, when we send it to Oakland County and
Right.
Township.
we have to send it out again, just because this is a final issue. And we gotta send it to them, and wait for them to come. That'll do it. So there's no hurry, but we need to get the planning commission on board to work out a date for the public hearing, so that would be probably November. That's 63 days, that's 2 months. Yes, Mr. Herbert.
Who owns the property, right alongside Polly, or just outside of Polly Trail? Is it the village here or?
Polly Trail.
Polly Trail? So just the other side, the thing like, if you're not gonna enforce all the ordinances, it's hard for someone to say, well, you're spotting, you're gonna enforce this and that one. But I noticed like on that side, we're in the country out here, but you got people over there all junk, broken down equipment, so. You get that right there, so if you got a case like someone says you're gonna try to enforce one but not the other,
No, you're right, that's always a problem.
then you're biased.
Okay, so we'll talk. Okay, Pioneer Trail Management Council, we have a meeting this Wednesday at Orion Township. I don't think there's anything big going on. If you haven't been to the trailhead, you might want to take a look at it. They're taking bids to fix the rural toilet, the building. It's got some wood coming off of it and stuff, so they're going to fix that. They're thinking about painting the corral, removed all the tall weeds from the berm in that area. And occasionally they have surveillance there as well for damage control. So, Main Street, I think we're just waiting on the surveys at this point.
Did you say how many we got back?
No, I didn't say how many.
1, 2. One of them's mine.
And mine, I want mine tonight.
Okay, so there's 3 then.
But I did talk to Kristen Wolfang probably over a week ago, and she said they had a couple there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, good.
Because the surveys indicated, sent them to the county.
Okay, all right.
Main Street, Village Parks, what we got going on, John?
We got a meeting next month, and then we're supposed to have a work day after that.
Well, we'll get that out at the next meeting. Okay, Noda, I'm assuming we have a meeting this month, but I have not seen a packet for it, so I don't know what's going on. I imagine you'll acknowledge the passage of the village. Community Development Block Grant, everyone should have gotten their summary in the packet. And the Historical Study Committee, I don't hate saying that, because it's pretty much stalled out there.
Yeah, but my problem is how to do the research. And I went to the township, and what I got, I was going to use my house as a test, and I got almost nothing. Now, I want to ask you, I asked Bruce, and he didn't give me a definitive answer. Village had all these records, and I don't know if there'd be anything in there that would help me. But they all went and sat in a pile at the township for a long, long time. And I asked Bruce, I said, do you guys still have them, or are they at the county? He said, no, we still have them. And he said, Pauline would know where they are. So do I need special permission to go into those, or?
Well, you've got it. Just if you need a letter, I mean, just call Pauline and see if you can look at them.
They should be public information, and I'm not looking for anybody's personals. I really want to use my house as a test, just to see what information I can get.
I can't imagine that would be a problem.
Okay.
So, And if you need authorization, I can certainly do that.
Okay. And then I think I will ask down at the library, because that Patty Hike is very knowledgeable about research on genealogy. And I did go to the class on house genealogy, and it had some good ideas, but again, if I can do it at my computer, that's where I've got to go, but my computer is slow, my tablet's fast, and so I fall asleep trying to get anything done.
All right, I don't have anything else.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Shower and Mr.
Put a new clock.
Yeah, I know.
What happened to the clock?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye.